what are some of the really kind of fun, profound things that have popped up before we get in deep into the information?
Well, there's been so much. I've really enjoyed working with water and the dreamtime, because my question was, is water conscious, or is my consciousness impacting the water? And I thought, well, when am I not actively conscious? And so I thought, well, what about when I'm asleep, while I'm dreaming? And so I would put a petri dish of water beside my bed with the intention that it captures some part of my dream. And then in the morning, I would wake up. And if I knew I'd dreamt, you know that feeling when you've had a dream, but you're trying to remember it, and then it just disappears?
Yeah.
Well, those would be the only time that I would freeze the imagery, because if I remembered the dream, I could be projecting.
Right.
So I had literally dragged the freezer into the bedroom, and I would just put it straight into the freezer. And what was incredible was that what I saw was imagery clearer than almost anything I've seen in the waking state. And it was so clear that it would jog my memory of the entire dream, and I was able to write the whole dream down.
Oh,
and
that's wonderful.
It was remarkable.
Yeah.
But that made me then wonder, well, how can water accompany me through the dream time? And perhaps it is the observer. And that lends into the Maori word for spirit, which is wairua. It means, very rudimentary, two waters, the physical and spiritual waters. And then I began to wonder, well, could the observer effect be one of the spiritual aspects of water? So that's definitely been something I've been fascinated with.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I'm just thinking about the experiments they did many years ago in Russia about remote viewing, and they had decided then, and they had a lot of people around recording this, the Soviet Academy of Sciences and such. They noticed that the clearest viewing was into the future, where the conscious mind wasn't present and manipulating or projecting.
Yeah.
And there was less noise. And maybe that's kind of what it's like in dream time, where your conscious mind isn't projecting. So you found you saw the image and thought, oh my God, that's exactly what, I remember the whole thing now. I love that.
Oh, it was remarkable.
I mean, it's a real aid to helping people remember dreams too. Although you have to put a freezer and a petri dish in your room.
It's a process.
So let's get into kind of some of a little bit more mechanical aspects of it, if you will, even though it's not dry and boring. And that's the notion of liquid crystal coating. When people see these incredible images, just talk about that for a moment and we'll move on.
I think it's good to know that there are 3 stages of freezing. And the first freeze, which is where I take water out, is when water has literally just begun to freeze. There is liquid on top and ice underneath. The second freeze is where it's like a water sandwich stuck between 2 layers of ice, and then there is a solid. I think of them like spirit, blood, and body. Liquid crystal is not exactly a solid, and it's not a liquid. It is in a stage between the two, more like plasma. And it has an ordered molecular structure, it absorbs more light, it has negative charge, and it has viscosity. A wonderful example of it as a liquid crystal would be a fellow crystallographer who learnt my freezing method was using a glass baking dish instead of a petri dish, and anyone can do that. Mm-hmm. And she had this beautiful crystallography that had formed, and as she was holding the dish up vertically, the ice naturally started to move downward. But rather than just evaporate and disappear or become liquid, it actually scrolled upon itself to create an ice scroll with all of the information or design still on it. So in the liquid crystal state, what we're seeing is the most pure information that water has absorbed and shared.
And you say sometimes this can almost look like hieroglyphics or cuneiform.
Absolutely. So this is one of the things I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
So I have been working with words, the written word. And what I've discovered is that there is an energy that comes from the written word. Mm-hmm. And when you put the water on top of that word, remove and freeze, and you repeat that, what I found is that I see the same symbol appear over and over and over again, and for me it has to be at least 50 times, and that means that I now have a symbol for the energy of the word I wrote.